everyone, it's Don over at Overedge Prop Commissions, and I wanted to show you probably the first of many finished products of everything. So I was recently, well not recently, at the beginning of the year I was contacted by, at Mystic Taku on Instagram, and he said that he wanted a pair of Kanshou and Bakuya blades from Fate Stay Night, wielded by Archer Emiya, Shiro Emiya, Chloe von Einsburn. You know, these swords are very near and dear to me in my nerd heart. I have built a pair of these myself, and honestly, these ones came out better than the ones I made for myself when I first started making actual weaponry. So, just to give you a quick run through of them. So, Bakuya himself is the white blade, and I basically used mainly EVA foam. The blade into the handle is all one piece, and then these two sides of the handles are another piece that I cut out and glued on top of them. On the inside, there is an aluminum bar that runs through, only about to here, just to add a little bit of stability so it doesn't just flop in the breeze. And also fiberglass the middle to give it a little bit more stability in the blade. But there is enough foam on the edges and everything to where if you were to accidentally hit someone with them, they would be met with foam and not fiberglass and possibly hurt them. They are very con legal. I've used the same method in my swords. The actual yin yang symbol and the little triangle piece are also EVA foam and craft foam. I actually hand dremeled these down to size and then basically fit them in. The yin yang symbols sit on top of the triangle, and I just basically used super glue and contact cement, and that was it. I used both spray paint and airbrush on the blade to kind of get some spots that were a little uneven. I also did use Bondo to help fill in some of the areas. People have told me to use like wood filler and everything, but I prefer to use Bondo just because it adheres quick, it sands really well. I feel like I can get better seamless like touch-up spots and everything. The grips themselves are just electrical tape, because I've tried using faux leather on them and it just made my hands sweat, and it was not very nice when I went to go put them down and they're all sticky and everything. And I found that electrical tape actually works really well. It gives you a really good grip. It still looks like the wraps that are on the actual Kanshou and Bakuyas, and it's just very easy to apply, and then if it gets worn down you can always just rip it off and then re-tape them down. The little gold buttons are just some of these little brads that someone gave me when I had my my Archer cosplay commission. They were just little leftover parts. But that's enough of that sword. Let's get on to the actual one that I love and hate to build all at once, which is Kanshou, the black sword. Now, same method that went into Bakuya. The only difference is, every time I have seen a pair of these blades built, along with my very first set, people have always just painted the hexagons on. I always wanted to get more of a 3D effect to make these hexagons really pop. So what I did is I spray painted the entire blade red as the base. Then I spent about 4 hours drawing out, cutting out, and heat treating 40 hexagons, of which I have 4 left, and proceeded to super glue them down and just eyeball the spacing for them, and you get this really, really nice looking effect on them. Now, this is the way that I always feel that Kanshou should look. Now, I'm not saying there is anything wrong with just painting them on. I just feel that this gives you it catches people's eyes when you actually have the craft foam on top of the EVA foam that gives it this nice little textured look. Another thing that I did too was along the actual blade edge, I used some of SKS Props foam clay, which is this magical stuff. And I also used it to fill a couple other parts that were a little uneven, and it cures really well. It sands really well. Has basically the same density as EVA foam when you actually, let it cure for a little bit. Accepts paint very, very well. Accepts primer very, very well. Everything. It just looks amazing. But everything else is exactly the same as Bakuya. EVA foam handles, the EVA foam yin yang, craft foam triangles, electrical tape around here. One thing that I did want to mention too is that the handles along all the edges and on a couple other parts actually went in with my spray paint, or not my spray paint, my airbrush. Mixed up my own brown that was a lot darker than what I originally had, and just went in and gave it some darker highlights, and it looks pretty damn good. All in all, this build probably took me, total build time, probably about close to 2 months, because I had to kind of stop and pick it back up, and ran into a couple of issues with it, but for the most part, this came out better than what I could have expected. Now, the prop builder in me notices these little tiny little pieces where it's like, oh, I should have done that a little different, or this over here. But that being said, this is kind of like a testament to the things that I've learned and have been able to apply to my prop building. I'm extremely happy with the way they came out, like I said, and I probably won't be building another one of these for a long time, because it does take a lot of material, it does take a lot of time, and it is kind of stressful. So I will probably be taking a hiatus from making any more Kanshou and Bakuyas. So, Tony, if you're watching this, it was great doing business with you. I hope that you love these, and I hope that they really make your Archer and Shiro cosplays pop when you cosplay at AX and any future conventions. The next build that I'm trying to do for myself is going to be a boosted gear from High School DxD. I've made quite a few of them in the past, but I have an idea as to how to make them better, which I will hopefully be able to bring with me to Anime Expo. If not, I'm just going to wear my old one and work on that one on the side. I may have 2 more commissions already lined up for the rest of 2019 going into 2020. And yeah, that's pretty much it. As always, if you have any questions about the build, or if you want to build a pair of these yourselves, feel free to contact me either on here or over at my prop commission page, which is at overedge _ prop _ commissions. Or you can always reach out to me on my personal one, which is at archerfsn, which is all one word. And until the next build, stay great, keep cosplaying, and have fun with it, and be awesome.